that got mine for the weirdest one. I liked it, man. Like I said, it was almost poetic in a way.
It was very different from the others.
It was
thematically.
It was different, and I was bored by it for most of it.
Man, you gotta
just some. And it's like, and I love it because at one point we in the short, the guy goes, "In a way, the giant lived a more full life than we ever could." I'm like, okay, he's dead, but all right, yeah, keep being pretentious. All right, sure, just move on.
Martin, everything you say, Chris will come in and say, that's stupid.
That's always his thing. It's always like, well, I was bored. Well, it's no good because I was bored.
Exactly.
You like that dumb shit?
Yeah.
Didn't say that. I didn't say it that way.
It got quiet for a moment, and I was bored.
Well, Martin,
it was quiet for all of it.
Well, Martin, so Chris, what do you think? Well, I think Martin was just like anything.
Not what I said. Just didn't particularly like that one.
It was pretentious, and I was bored.
Hey everyone, support our Patreon, which helps us to continue bringing you our live streams, videos, and podcasts while bringing you new content such as exclusive live streams and animated shorts. Let's talk about another Netflix property out here. This time it's a show, not a movie. Maybe it'll be better this time. I know you saw it. Did you see Love, Death, and Robots?
I did.
Season 2?
I did.
You saw it.
I did.
We talked about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have Netflix bringing back the Anthology series. You know, one of my favorite movies back in the day was Heavy Metal. It's not very good, but it's something I love.
It was great for the time.
It was great for the time.
It was different.
It was an animated anthology. It was one of the big movies in the 80s to bring forward adult animation out there. But as I said, anthologies are just something that don't do well in theaters. Oh, my God, I guess we'll never see one of those again. Well, fortunately, David Fincher and Tim Miller, the guy that worked on Deadpool, those two guys, they brought it back. They didn't call it Heavy Metal, but it's the same thing, and their intention was to bring Heavy Metal back to the big screen. Of course, as we said, anthologies are not going back to the big screen no time soon, at least. Maybe. Never say never. But they were able to take it over to one of the new platforms out there that is now making these kind of things possible again, and that is Netflix. And that show is Love, Death, and Robots.
You okay?
I've seen too much.
Yeah, so have we. Now, some of y'all out there, you saw this trailer here, and you say, you know what? I can't really put my finger on it, but something is missing here. It's not the same feeling that I got when I saw not even the last season, but when I saw the trailer for the last season. What's different here? Yeah, that's right. Ain't no blood and titties. Where the blood and titties go? I mean, I saw a little blood in this last movie. Where the titties at, man?
Well, that's the hallmark of Heavy Metal.
Yeah, where the ass at, man? What's all this thoughtful shit going on here? Y'all get deep. I mean, now that's cool, that piece of shit right there. Now, that way I got kind of hopeful, but what's happening here? People, with this, the last season of Love, Death, and Robots, the showrunners on those were David Fincher and Tim Miller. David Fincher, you know him. We just got through talking about Gone Girl, but, it's one of my favorite movies, Fight Club and whatnot. Tim Miller, of course, responsible for Deadpool, bringing him to the screen. And, they're great directors, so I'm not even saying this in an insulting way, but they did kind of bring a teenage boy element to the last one. A lot of things that dudes like, a lot of action, a lot of nudity, emphasis on the female nudity.
They were horny.
In there.
That's what they were horny.
They're like horny dudes.
They blew their load and then they calmed down the next season.
Yeah, well, it was one of those things where if you looked at the original Heavy Metal and you say like, all right, we want to make it a step more mature than that. They did. It's just that this time around they went, let's go a bit more mature than that, though.
Yeah. Well, the reason why is because the new showrunner, Jennifer Yu Nelson, she's like the big sister that busts into the room like, y'all stop being nasty.
What are you doing?
Put your dick back in your pants. Grow up. Are you jacking off again? Are you looking at that? You looking at porn again? Jesus Christ, grow up. She brought a different sensibility to this.
Man, your sister's mean.
Yeah.
But she's hot, though.
She gone? She did bring a different sensibility than this. And part of that with her being a woman, she said, look, you don't put them titties away and all that ass. We ain't doing that around here now.
Right.
I ain't bringing that sexy shit up in here. Look, can I put more dicks in? No, well, shit, we ain't doing that either.
Well,
Yeah, there
is a dick.
She said, you know what?
I'll give you a dick.
And it's the biggest dick you ever seen.
Imaginable.
And even that is done tasteful.
Tastefully.
I'm gonna pass it on to you guys real quick here, but I think because she's the showrunner now, and I don't know if it's because she is a female. She might like looking at titties as much as any dude out there. But because you have a different showrunner here, I think they came in with just a different feeling. Because they are more thoughtful. A lot of these don't leave you with that big gut punch at the end. You know, they don't leave you with something where it's like, oh wow. You know, they leave a huge impression at the end. Most of these, if not all, you would probably just walk away saying, interesting. You know?
Well, that happened. On to the next one.
Well, I'm confused. What the fuck was that? Where's the dog shit at again? You know, that's that could be good or bad depending on what you're looking for. As we said, if you love what they did in the last series and that's what you wanted, you want a lot of female nudity, you want just full-paced action, you want a lot of violence, you want a lot of blood. That's not exactly what you're getting here. You know, this one does feel less exploitive. This one does feel more thoughtful. And if that's what you like, then that's going to be more for you. Personally, I like both seasons for what they are. I like probably this one a little bit better because of the thoughtfulness, because I said last season, I said, man, I don't really like how much they're just leaning on the nudity in it. Mm-hmm. But, you know, and I guess a lot of people said that because it sounded like they listened. But like I said, that might not be for everybody.
Well, it seemed like the first season was very much heavy metal.
Yeah.
And this one's a lot more Black Mirror.
Yeah.
And
wow, that's a great way of putting that.
It's almost as if like she listened directly to me about how I felt about the first season, where it's like, man, I really like this, but I feel like there's a lot in here that could maybe be trimmed. And it'd be nicer if there was more focus on the animation and not so much on the heavy metalness of it. And I would say, you know, it's so much shorter with 8 episodes instead of 18. Yeah. But it comes down to where with the fat trimmed, I really liked or loved every one of these.
I think my problem with anthology series in general is that it's like, ooh, I really like that. I want to see more of it. No, it's done. It's over. Where I hate to compare it to this, but I have to. It's like something like Infinity Train, where that is an anthology series, but it's where you follow this set of characters for a season. It's 10 episodes, and then that's done. You might hear about them, might get references, but for the most part, we move on to a new set of characters. Like if something like this, it's like there are individual episodes like, oh, that's just so really interesting. I want to see what the next one is, what the next little adventure is, but we don't get that. And there were some that I really loved, and others was like, okay, well, I guess that happened. Can we just move on to the next one, or you could just exercise this completely? I didn't need this at all, or it just felt incredibly derivative. Where, yeah, much like the first season, I'm super mixed on this. I was entertained by it. It moved for the most part pretty well, but there were times where I'm like, all right, I can skip this one. I feel like I didn't miss anything.
That's just how it's going to be with an anthology series. I completely see that because I expected both of you to feel a certain kind of way. I didn't know who was going to feel like what, but I expected, you guys to have kind of differing opinions. I'm a fan of, when I say fan, it's not like I see every one of them, but I do appreciate the anthology format very much. There's been so many things that I love. Grew up on the Twilight Zone. Mm-hmm. As I said, I loved heavy metal when that came out. Creep Show is one of my favorite movies that's out there. And if you haven't seen Trick or Treat, it's very much like Creep Show. You should see that. Mm-hmm. But so I love the anthology format. So I'm a little biased on that. Now to your point, I can see what you're saying because, no matter how I feel, if I had to tell somebody, understanding that I know that everybody's going to like this format, anthologies, I feel like most of these are snippets from bigger stories. They leave you with more questions than they do answers, and that's, in some places that feels good, in some places it feels like it just ended really abruptly.
It's like because they have to, like we're obligated to end it here and not thoroughly explore it. Which I go on, but that is a hallmark of Anthology.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
Well, I mean, it's just, if you like being left with mystery, you like filling in the gaps yourself, or being left to wonder about something, then cool.
Could be fun.
Like they had one episode where people were hunting the dude's balls. And I was like, they never explained to me why everybody wanted this dude's balls. At first, I thought it was like them just using I thought they were just saying a metaphor or something.
No,
they explain it, but then at the end, it's just like, well, no one cares anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, it was not that big of a deal anymore.
At the end, it wasn't a big deal.
I was like, why? It was this man's balls. It was such a big deal before. Now
Yes.
nobody gives a shit about his nutsack now.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel that way about that one.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm like you, man. I enjoyed every one of these for what they are. You really have to just kind of go in knowing that you're not going to get full stories. I will say the last season, what they did was they did give you things that felt like they were complete stories within a small amount of time. Some, not all these feel that way.
Yeah,
And
it'd be nicer if some of them or most of them were longer.
yeah. That thing with the
Most of these are open ended. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No,
most of these feel
yeah.
more open ended than the last season.
Yeah, they have some of these like that whole thing with where the dog pooped right there. That segment right there deals with a bunch of old people who are they're like in a
Retirement
old folks center.
community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
retirement, and the retirement community is kind of turning on them. I was trying to find another frame here from that.
Yeah, with the automated house.
Yeah, it's pretty much the whole theme of the technology will turn on us, and how geriatrics going to handle it. The least likely people to handle that. There it is. That's played up more for comedy.
Yes.
And that is nothing but pretty much an extended joke.
Yeah.
And it's a joke that's not going to actually, for some people, it's not going to be deserving. The punchline's not going to be deserving of the time it took to get there.
Well,
Yeah,
you've seen it before.
Yeah, it was probably my least favorite, but it starts it out, and I was like, just to kick things off, that's fine.
There was one that got in and got out, and it did actually give me a what the fuck moment and left me with that. And I thought, like, yeah, okay, this worked perfectly for me because it didn't need to answer anything for me, leave me confused. It's short. It did have a proper ending to it. It did have a gag that seemed to work, and I love the look of it. That was episode 6, the one, the Christmas one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The real weird Christmas one. I was like that kid. Like, what the fuck is that?
It had a good punchline at the end.
No, that's the one that worked. Because when you watch these, since all animated, you look at all the ones and you say, all right, which one did I like for this particular reason? Which one did I like the animation the most? Which one had the best style, etc. That one had, I think, the best gag in it, and had the best what the fuck moment in there. I'll get around to what you guys thought about what your favorite ones were, but I thought it would be good to kind of go in and just categorize this in a small way quickly, so that we can talk about this in a more organized way. I think they all have their own style. That's the biggest thing about this. All these are very stylistic. I think my favorite style, and this is one of the things I had to complain about with this season, there wasn't enough 2D animation.
I know.
All these are all of them are CG animated, 3D animated. There's one. This one might actually be CG animated also, but it has a very 2D style to it.
Thanks, let's go.
That reminded me of my favorite episode from last season, the blue. I forgot what it was called. Blue Aqua or Aqua or something. It was about the vacuum cleaner that became a man. You remember that one? Blue Zima. I think this might be the same studio as Blue Zima, but that was my favorite style. And because, I really do love
art and animation.
Yeah, I really do love 2D animation first of all, but this one stood out because all of them still had sort of that same CG look.
Right. The different levels of rendering on video game cutscenes for so many of the other ones, but this one really did stand out, and the fact that most of these are humans with it worked that it was done with 3D, but with 2D superimposed on it.
The only thing that I would say that if I had a complaint about it is one of those where they give you these big visuals, they give you these big characters with enhancements, they give you these big alien creatures in here, and then it ends with them just being a bunch of teenagers having fun and just going off and
Just being assholes to each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it didn't, and it just kind of ended like on this.
It just ends
on this small scale that contradicted what they set up, and that's what I'm saying about a lot
It's
of
literally
these.
like, well, that happened.
Yeah.
Anyway.
yeah, really. It was kind of like that, but I didn't hate it. I actually that was my favorite style. Did you have a favorite style out of all these?
That one.
What about you?
I mean, you make a good point. Is that they just use 3D animation for the most part in this, and a lot of times that realistic animation, especially the last ones. My favorite one is the penultimate one, which I think is the one they're kind of selling this entire season on.
Yeah,
But which is very photorealistic, and sometimes like, wait, is that real?
Yeah.
Or is
Was
that
Life Hutch?
Yeah, Life Hutch.
You know
one,
what?
Yeah.
We're gonna get to that one. I'm curious. That's why I told you earlier. I said, man, hold off, because I want to talk to you about that one right there.
But that is the most visually different than all of them, because of the 2D animation.
Yeah, the one I like the most for being the weirdest one. This is the one that's the most surrealist. This is it was the last episode 8, where the giant naked white man washed up on the beach, and that was almost poetic in a way. That was almost like the most thoughtful one because
it felt like something I would hear being read on NPR on an episode of Selected Shorts.
Yes.
That's the one. Oh, what was how people used to use this word, and I used to hate it, man. Coffee or whatever. It was the guy that wrote the novel about the dude that was a roach on his back. And
Kafka.
yeah,
Kafka-esque.
This is one where your pretentious friend would say, "Oh, that's very Kafka-esque." Shut your ass up. This is one because what I love about this one is that this is a giant man on the beach, and what it shows you is that if you leave trash long enough, no matter how big or what it is in front of human beings, we will stop giving a shit.
Yeah.
The amputation was but the first of a series of depredations.
Like, human beings will draw graffiti
I
on
know.
anything.
Eventually.
Even a giant naked man.
Yeah.
Well, if it's
It was
there.
a wonder and a marvel at first, and then it was just something to tag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people were dancing on it and having parties, and not even a week. 2 days later, they're like, yeah, well, seen it. You see the giant naked? Yeah, man, yeah, shit. I was drinking on his nipple. What do you mean? You see his dick? Yes, we did. Yeah, we
That's
danced
hanging
on
up over
it.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, we camped under his dick for a little while. But yeah, man, that one I thought was that got mine for the weirdest one. I liked it, man. Like I said, it was almost poetic in a way.
It was very different from the others.
It was.
Thematically.
It was different, and I was bored by it for most of
Man,
it.
you got a
just
attention
some,
span like
just some. And it's like, and I love it because at one point we in the short, the guy goes, "In a way, the giant lived a more full life than we ever could." I'm like, okay, he's dead, but all right, yeah, keep being pretentious. All right, sure, just move on.
Martin, everything you say, Chris will come in and say, "You that's fucking stupid."
That's always his thing. It's always like, well, I was bored. Well, it's no good because I was bored.
Exactly.
You like that dumb shit?
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I didn't say it that way.
It got quiet for a moment, and I was bored.
Well, Martin, it was
Quite for all of it.
Well, Martin, so Chris, what do you think? Well, I think Martin was just like anything.
Not what I said. Just didn't particularly like that
It
one.
was pretentious, and I was bored.
Try to be smarter than me. Try to be smarter than me.
How dare you use those words that I had to look up?
Where's my thesaurus?
That's your Buffalo, New York.
I was
Goddamn right.
Just about to that
You
Buffalo
think
coming
you
out
better
of
than me, huh?
It is. It's saying that all these fucking people, they're wasting their lives. That giant, he lived his life, even though you don't know what his life was like. Okay, you could assume all you want.
Well, they got the
Science man.
It's a fucking dead body. That's what it is. Get it the fuck off the beach so the kids can
Cut it
smell.
It's starting to stink already.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Like, no one ever brought up the stench.
And they never brought up the stench.
I was
Yeah.
like, why?
'Cause
And
I-
he's saying this thing is so beautiful.
You-
oh, it's
You
majestic.
know you're not supposed to take this
my
literally,
Lord.
right?
I don't care. I don't care.
I liked it.
I liked it.
I didn't care for it. Not my favorite.
Yeah, you would, college boy.
College too.
Talking slow. How dare you?
With that British accent of his.
That pretentious ass British
So
accent.
haughty.
I like it.
Didn't say y'all. Once.
I'm not saying you can't like it. You can enjoy it. I'm just saying what I feel about it. I'm sure my opinion. That's what we do here. Apparently, I was wrong.
Oh, look, a book. Damn. Shit. Hey, Poindexter.
That would have been good.
Why would you read this when there's movies?
Yeah. However, I can see how people would not like this episode. I completely see that. I see both sides. I'm not making fun of you, man. I completely.
Even though you spent the last 5 minutes doing
Well,
so.
I only did
Got
that
our system
Oh,
down,
yeah,
man.
okay.
because of the way you just responded to him. Well, I'd rather enjoy this. Yeah, well, you're stupid.
I did not say that. I did not say that to Martin.
I understand why people would not like this. I completely do. It is slow, and that too can be seen as somewhat pretentious in a way. So I understand. I get it. I just, like I said, I just like it, man. I just,
No, I'm just,
he's gonna catch me out in the hallway and beat the shit out of me. Hey, Coleman, come here.
Come here, Coleman.
Can I talk to you for a second?
Goddamn
Gonna
nerd.
lock me in my own closet. Get in there. You and your fucking chihuahua. Get a real dog. Well, how about this, man? How about this one? I think my favorite story out of all of them was episode 3. Do you remember the name of that one?
Yeah, I had it. Pop Squad.
Pop Squad. And I like that one because I thought that one did the best job. Where I say that all these kind of they give you snippets and you have to fill in the rest of the world. I think this did it the best way. I'm not going to really tell you what it is because, like I said, they give you hints at what is happening, and I think it'd be cool if you saw that for yourself. But I think they did the best world reveals here, and I think they did some great voice work. I thought the acting in
Nolan North.
Is that Nolan North?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this one has some of the best drama and some of the best acting and some of the best voice work in it.
You're smiling.
She's cute.
You feel something, don't you? Not dead. Like yours.
See, you had to say that shit out. Why you had to talk some shit to me? I was good. I was about to walk out this bitch, but you had to talk that shit. Nah, man, that one is, and that one kind of ends a little abruptly too. I even would say that it ends on a note that was kind of weak in a way, but that was right up into the last minute.
It ends abruptly, but it tells the most full story. I feel like a lot of these are just like, all right, well, I guess we're moving on to the next one. That has a beginning, middle, and end.
This one was my favorite, and because of a lot of reasons you mentioned, great character work, fantastic acting, so much world building within this whole the short time it's there, and it gives you the impression of everything being fully realized. Like you could go, with more, but this also felt to me like normally I would see this in a movie that's an hour and a half to 2 hours with a lot of padding and it might not even have as impactful of an ending, but still end up the same place. Where here it was like, wow, you cut it down to the essentials and gave me everything I needed. And even that part where the mom is talking about her daughter and the reason for having kids, I felt touched by that. I was like, that rang true. It's like that's absolutely how I feel.
Yeah, no, I thought this was a brilliant episode. I think this is my favorite one too. I think my least favorite was episode 7, the one with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, okay.
And that's it. No, that's that. I don't like that one because I think that it was a little too straightforward, a little too simple. It was pretty much Michael B. Jordan lying on the ground hurt, trying to fight off a robot.
Yeah, I was like, is that really him, or is that mocap, or?
I couldn't tell most of the time.
Yeah, it's so close. I was like,
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter. You might as well have just got him to do it.
I thought it was mocap.
I mean, to me, it looked so realistic.
Yeah.
I really couldn't tell, like Chris says. But the story, it was like, didn't we just see this on Black Mirror?
Oh, you know, that might be him. Yeah, that might be him with a bunch of CG.
You know, it's weird because when he's like more moving around, like actually walking, when he's fighting this thing in this very enclosed environment, then it looks like, okay, then I could tell that's CGI, that's animation right there. But he's just laying on the ground like that, just sweating, you know, of his broken body. It's like, okay, that looks so real to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why I really like this, you know, I'm a sucker for a good bottle story, especially when you're in a closed environment with like a creature. And so I just really love something like that. I think they nailed it, especially when it's so unexpected, where he's fighting in this intergalactic war. This is the most dangerous thing possible. He lands on this planetoid. And he's like, well, I'm safe. And then this new threat you never even expect pops up. You know, it kind of reminds me in a way of like something like 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Okay.
Where, you know, you have this alien invasion going on, these monsters going out there, but the threat that the characters that we're following right now is just from this seemingly ordinary guy played by John Goodman. And I kind of like read a little bit into that. I was like, oh, I just love that. I love that this whole big concept he was fighting against, but now like this small little moment, his little side story. I just loved how it would have played out, and how like ingenious he was to like to trick this thing. I was like, oh, I thought that was clever.
Martin, tell me
I
how
really
stupid
dug
he is.
this.
Well, I was bored.
It was straightforward. I'm like, yes, because I'm dumb and I like straightforward things.
I wasn't going to say any of that, but this is catching me off guard in as much as one of the things I most didn't like about this one, and like I said, I liked all of them, but one of the things that made this one of my least favorites, if not my least favorite, was that I feel like I've seen this, like for 50 years, I've seen sci-fi movies with this thing where the guy is trapped with something going around and he's got to outsmart it. And you are the king of jumping on things where it's like, seen this too many times, this again.
This is boring.
but I like that. Alien's my favorite movie, so I'm like, okay, I don't mind you doing Alien again.
All right, now we see. Yeah,
That's a good one.
Yeah, this was my least favorite too. Like I can't even say I liked it. I just thought it was okay, which is surprising because this was the one I was looking forward to the most because it had Michael B. Jordan in it.
Oh yeah.
I was chatting up Michael B. Jordan, talking about shit. Look at him going out there getting all these roles that black people don't get, and I was like, yeah, maybe black people don't need that role right there. But no, it was it looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's not poorly done.
If it was in something bigger, and it had been more spread out, I think I would have liked it. But again, I see why you also enjoyed that. You know, something for everybody here, which is the beauty of an anthology series. The one that left me wanting more, and again, I mean that in a good way. I thought this was an interesting concept. I will say that, yeah, if they had been able to go in and actually tell more story, that's cool. But I like being left to think about what is this world that we're in right here. It was episode 5, the one where they're on the train. Do you remember the name of that one?
Tall Grass.
Tall
The
Grass.
Tall Grass, yeah.
Yeah, that one was weird, man, because that one I was wondering, what period is this? Is this even Earth? Why are these creatures like they are? There was a lot of things going on, a lot of mix of things that I thought mixed well together but gave no real answers, and that's not such a bad thing. You know, I also like that this one was a horror episode, and it didn't have to depend on any kind of gore, no blood. It was kind of, you know, and there were creatures in there, and it mostly depended on suspense. But I do think that it could be lacking for a lot of people because it's just something that doesn't tell people enough about what it is.
Well, I really like the art style, the way they dropped the frame rate so it looks like it's stop motion animation.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I felt more like Chris did when he talked about where, yeah, you came on and you showed me something cool, but then, all right, well, that was it, and move on.
Yeah.
Like it was like, okay, if this is the opening to a movie, let me see. But it was like, I really could have used a little bit more here just to know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm right there with Martin. I really like the animation style. It reminded me of Into the Spider-Verse or the Mitchells versus the Machines. So it was kind of cool to see it applied to like a horror setting. But it introduced all these cool concepts, these creatures, the time period, and it's like, all right, it's over.
Yeah,
But that's anthology. So
Yeah.
and that's why I thought that a lot of people would feel that way. I enjoyed it, but like I said, I'm not surprised when people walk away like, I don't know what the hell that was. What was going on with that? I would think that would be cool if this could be a springboard for a bigger series
Oh,
or
yeah.
a video game.
I mean,
or
that's
something.
almost the case with all of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right, Martin. It did feel like an opening too, like a movie.
Yeah.
And we're just like, well, sometimes people fall off the train.
Yeah.
Sometimes I never come back.
Or sometimes you're a stupid ass who wanders off into the grass full of monsters. We told your ass not to do that in the first place. Stupid ass. I was just like, you know what?
Yeah.
I said I appreciate there was no blood and gore, but if there had been, I would have been
Yeah,
like, good, you had it coming.
Yeah.
Those are some of my highlights, though. You know, we talked about some of these others in ways. You know, we talked about the Christmas episode. I tell you what I love about that Christmas episode.
That was fun.
You talk about stop motion. That one looked like that very much was stop motion. I couldn't tell. I'm probably CG enhanced stop motion.
Yeah.
But I really like that one, man, for the look. I think that's probably my second favorite style in there.
I really, really like. My second favorite was the snow in the desert. I dug that story. The
Which one was
romance. The guy with the white hair where they wanted his balls.
The Immortal.
Yeah, with the whole thing with the girl that comes to him. I love the way they handled all of that, and even the ending I liked.
Yeah, I do like that one. It didn't jump at me. It was something because the villains in that, they had these villains and they were pretty much stock assassins and mercs and whatnot. But I like the tone of it. I like that you present this in this action film kind of way, and that too was also very thoughtful. And the way it ended was on a thoughtful note.
Yeah, I like the aesthetic, cool world. I enjoyed the characters, but yeah, again, they established something that they're going after this guy, and her, one of the main characters going after this guy, and then the end it's like, it doesn't really matter. But I still like it. Was my third favorite out of all of them.
Yeah,
it was. I mean, again, it was weird because I'm like, okay, I know he is definitely CGI, but some of these other characters, I'm like, you look so real. It throws me off sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially the main female character.
Oh yeah.
I thought the opening one, not the greatest one. It's not amazing, but it was a really good way to kick things off.
Sure,
That's the
yeah.
one with the geriatrics and
I
the
felt that
fighting
way too.
technology.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's one gag, but it moves. It's fun and it's short and okay. It's a good, it's a good appetizer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think it would be cool, given how this kind of feels different as a whole for the season, how this feels different from the first season. I think it'd be cool if they actually got different showrunners, and every season, every episode kind of lent itself to a different feeling.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, if they do another one, man, I would love to. I would love for them to do a season 3. You know, if there are takeaways that I had with this, or some advice to offer as just a fan of it, I would just say I would like for these stories to have more of a better ending.
Closure,
yeah. More of a narrative impact at the end, where you do feel like you told the story and just didn't leave it hanging. I think that's why some of these things didn't work with all these worlds here, where you feel like, well, they didn't give me enough. I feel like if they had a stronger ending,
yeah,
maybe they'd be better. You don't ask questions about the world if they deliver you a good story.
True.
I would say definitely try to get a different variety of style in there. Get more 2D in there.
Yeah, I am disappointed it wasn't more 2D.
You tried something, of course, is going to be different. It might not work on every level that we're used to, but you did see a lot of thought go into this, a lot of artistry.
Sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And one thing I can say is that with this season, when at the end of episode 8, I was waiting for that next episode. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, damn, that was it. As opposed to the first season, there was a while when I was like, oh, great, another one.
Yeah. Yo, I know. Yeah, I would give this as something that you can even just look at. I mean, look at it as just sort of as, I don't know, a moving painting for most of these if you want to. I would give this a low full price.
I found all of them enjoyable to different levels, and I wanted more. And while I wish there was more 2D, I did like all the art styles. So yeah, I thought low full price myself.
Like, it has the problems of any anthology series where there's some of these episodes where I think are really cool, I really like, and some where I could care less of and I would probably never watch again. It's a mixed bag, but hey, I agree with you guys. Like, a lot of heart went into each and every single one of these episodes, but not all of them connected with me. For me, I'd probably give this like a low matinee.
Oh man, all right then. And when it wasn't being boring.
Yeah, I mean,
No, we
I'll
already
say
messed with him. I wouldn't-
more boobs and blood, please. Thank you.
maybe a mixture of the two.
I'll also accept dick as well. If that's okay. To be fair.
If we got to go there.
Yeah, I mean, fine, fair enough. Combination at least.
2 boobs for every dick.
Yes, agreed.
And they all joined together.
I don't mind that.
Wait, no.
That'll be a good
Let's do
short.
that episode.
That'll be a good abomination short. I love that.
Are those 2 eyes and a nose? No!